This video is from Irwindale Public Library, where we will show you how to make 3 different types of crafty apples or pumpkins. For our first one, we will be making a toilet paper apple, or it can also be a pumpkin. So you will need a full roll of toilet paper with all of the toilet paper still on it, a piece of fabric. I recommend using a long sleeve sweater or a top. You will need it to be about 16 by 16 inches, a stick from outside, a ruler, marker, and scissors. So I made an apple, and here is mine. And this is a sweater that I don't wear, it was going to give away. So first what we're going to do is cut off both of the sleeves and then set them aside, because if you want to, you can use them for the next craft I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to measure a box using kind of the body, the stomach part of my sweater. So you need to make it at least 16 inches. You could probably get away with 14 inches, so just 16 by 16 on both sides. And then go ahead and cut it out when you're done. And then here I'm just going to cut off the neck part so I have my nice square of fabric. Next, unravel the toilet paper about 20 to 25 times. And then we're actually going to just wind it back up, but when we're winding it back up, you want to do 2 things. First of all, make sure it doesn't get tangled. And then second of all, we're going to go over the edge of the toilet paper on both sides. So just wind it so it goes over the top and over the bottom. And this is going to help us get the nice shape. And then when you're done winding it, lay it down in the very center of your fabric square. And then corner by corner, just start tucking it into the roll. And as I'm tucking it, I'm just making sure all the fabric is going inside. And then you can also I'm pulling out the fabric just to give it a better shape. So just fluff it a little bit and just work with it until you can see that it's nice and round. Then I'm going to add my stick, and this will offer some more support for the fabric. And then continue just to puff out the edges a little bit. Here it is so far, and I'm going to add a leaf. I just cut off a little piece of felt. I'm going to wrap it around my stick, and I think that will add a nice touch. And all done. This one is super easy and it looks really nice. I like it a lot. It's very festive. And for our next one, I'll show you how to make another pumpkin or apple using the sleeve that we cut off from the first part. So this one usually kind of looks a little bit better as a pumpkin. And what you're going to need is either 1 sleeve or 2 if you want to make 1 or 2, cotton balls, yarn, and scissors. And here's my final product. So let's get started. So take your sleeve and fold it all the way to the other side. And then I'm going to cut right where I folded, and we're going to use just that part of the sleeve. So then fold it inside out and tightly tie a string about 1 inch forward on the very end, not on the area that's toward the hand, but on the other side, and tie it tight. And I'm going to tie it around there a few times. Then fold it to the right side out. This way the string is on the inside. And then next, we're going to take some cotton balls, and you're going to need a lot, and just kind of break them into smaller pieces and then start stuffing them in. We want to stuff our apple or our pumpkin pretty full, so I probably used maybe like 40 cotton balls or so. Depending on how large your sleeve is, you could use a little more or a little less. And next I'm just going to tightly tie it off right above where the stuffing ends. And I'm going to tie it a few times like I did before. And this part is optional. I'm going to cut 3 pieces of string that can wrap around the whole apple. And then I am going to wrap them around. We're going to go horizontally, vertically, and then kind of at an angle. And this is just going to give the apple some shape. So like I said, this is optional. So just wrap around all 3 pieces, and then we're going to tie them to the top of the apple. And I'm using the green string just to kind of reinforce the 3 little pieces of yarn that I put around the base. So I'm going to tie that tightly, and then I'm also going to cut off the excess pieces of string. Then I'm going to take more of our green string, and I'm going to make a stem. So I'm just going to wrap it around the little red part of the sleeve that's hanging off until I get to a length that I like, and then I'm just going to cut off the extra fabric at the top. And next, let's tighten the string at the bottom, and we can knot it here if you want to. And like our first one, I'm just going to be fluffing out our fabric just to give it a better shape. And here it is. And lastly, let's see how to make a paper pumpkin or apple. So for this one, you will need 2 different colors of paper, scissors, glue, or a stapler. And here's my paper apple. It also will look nice as a pumpkin. So first take your piece of paper, and then we're going to cut it into about 10 to 15 strips. You can measure it out. I'm just gonna fold, and then I'm gonna cut the strips and try and make your strips all about the same size. And I'm folding my paper long ways, and the strips, you want them to be on the thin side, less than 1 inch. So next, take your strips of paper, -1, set one aside, and just make some loops. And staple or glue or tape your loops, whatever you need to do. So just take all but one and make your circles. Then we're going to take our circles and use 1 strip of paper, and we're going to put them all around this strip of paper. This is going to support our apple or our pumpkin, whatever it ends up being. And next, just staple or glue that piece right there. And then we're going to fan out our little pieces of paper just to make them look more uniform. And then we're going to take our other piece of paper, and I'm going to cut mine in half. You're not going to need the full sheet. And then we're going to roll this up, and that's just going to go right in the center. And there we go, there's our perfect apple. And that's the end of our video. Thanks for watching, and we hope you'll join us next time.